Hi, in this video, you're going to find out what the stars have to tell you for May, and I'm one of the only ones that could tell you this interpretation. So, if you don't already know me, I'm Ev Zervoudakis, the founder of Holistic Healing Astrology, and I help women by empowering them and giving them a wonderful outlook to move forward, especially through transition. You are going to find out about the planets and how they will vibrationally affect you. And we will break it down from the slowest moving planets like Pluto, Neptune, the ones that are significant this month. And you could look on your natal chart and see how that's going to affect you. I caution all of you out there that listen to social media astrologers. Some of them are real, some are not. I have 55 years of studying and researching astrology, working with real clients like you, and I have a very positive approach. We don't do doom and gloom here because, yes, it will give me high ratings, but it's not good for your soul, and you have free will. So this is a very spiritual platform, and it's to help you. It's to help you move forward. There are dangers of astrology, and that is number one, that you don't know enough to know that you're in danger, and number two, to believe the wrong information. And there's a power of suggestion and the biology of belief. If you believe a suggestion that's negative, that's a negative affirmation, not good. And if you believe in the power of suggestion, just by me saying that be careful, you may get into a car accident, you will be looking for a car accident. It's just the law of attraction. I point that out because so much garbage is on social media that is very dangerous and harmful, especially during these spiritually charged times of spiritual warfare, if you understand what I mean. And if you like what you see here moving forward, we do have a website with a blog on there, a link to all the social media platforms, short and long content. And we do a once a month newsletter that kind of puts everything in writing for you. So these platforms are for you to be educated, to understand astrology, and to keep you out of danger. So what I'm going to do is I'm visual, and I want to show you the stars and where they are right now, so you could get an idea the cycles of the planets and what I'm talking about. It's much easier to look at the stars as they move in real time, and you can see the dates and how they correlate. Let's move forward. Okay, so we have Pluto here, which is one of the slowest moving planets in the zodiac. And Pluto represents endings, losses, new beginnings. So if you need a new beginning, you have to have an ending. And it's always in a cycle. Pluto has a 248-year cycle. And what makes Pluto very powerful is its motion. So it goes forward 6 months and backwards about 6 months, back and forth. And then when it changes, excuse me, when it changes directions, it stays stationary or in neutral for you people that don't understand the astrology terminology. And it will impact your chart if it is in that neutral degree. So let me exhibit this. Here's Pluto with a big fat red arrow, and it's in 2 degrees Aquarius. So if you have anything in your chart, whether it's an angle or another planet, 2 degrees in a fixed sign or Aquarius, so the fixed signs are going to be Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, Taurus, 2 degrees. You're going to feel it. You probably already have been feeling it, but it's the strongest right now. Okay. And then you're going to see here that on May 3rd. So let's move it to May 3rd. There's a little tiny symbol here because astrologers read symbols, and the RX means retrograde. So guess what? Pluto is now in that stationary position of 2 degrees Aquarius, and it will be going backwards. So it's going to go back over the real estate in your chart that it was going through prior. So if you have any planets all the way back to 29 degrees of Capricorn or any cardinal signs, which would be Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So we're just going to start there for you new people. The advanced students, they know what to do if they want to take deeper looks. But that's how you know. Numbers, degrees, and minutes here are very important with the signs. Because if this moving planet in the sky right now, which has a vibration, is going towards one of your planets that you were born with that will never change, that's your natal chart, then you should be feeling something, especially if they are squares or oppositions. So I just named all those signs for you so you know what to do. Moving forward, Pluto is going to go retrograde and stay retrograde, and let me look at my notes, until October 12th. That's a long time, isn't it? And how far back is it going to go? Well, let's take a look. So we changed this to months, and we're going to move through by month to October. And keep an eye on Pluto. June, it'll be 1 degree of Aquarius. Then it will continue July, August. It will go to 0 degrees Aquarius. And then continues September, when you're going to have 29 degrees Capricorn. This is when it gets a little rough, because 29 degrees is an anaretic degree. What does that mean in astrology? Anything anaretic, it's a critical degree. Now, there's a whole list of critical degrees by modality, meaning if it's a cardinal sign and it has that degree, it means it's on steroids. It's extra strong. It's got a stronger message. It's screaming at you. It's all in caps. I hope I'm clear, because I want to break it down for people that don't understand astrology. Anaretic in Pluto, Pluto's already intense. It rules Scorpio, one of the most intense signs in the zodiac. It rules death. It rules losses. It rules sex, the spiritual sense of sex. It rules shared resources where you have to share your money. It rules psychology, getting to the root of everything, deep stuff, secrets, corruption. Also rules the 8th house, which is a same kind of energy. So when you look at astrology, it's all possibilities, and it suggests, does it mean it's going to happen? Does it mean there's going to be a death? Does it mean you're going to lose everything? No, because there is a power of suggestion and the biology of belief, but you are the designer of this chart. You are the designer of your life. And if you're going to choose to look at things as doom and gloom, that's what you're going to get. And sometimes these things have to happen for you to learn something from it, powerful lessons, or for you to change from what you were to what you need to be. But it's all based on your timing and free will, okay? So Pluto is intense. It's going to be in 29 degrees. And then it's going to be in the sign of Capricorn, which is a cardinal sign, which is already like a pessimistic sign. It has to do with accomplishments. And it's a shakeup. It's just a shakeup. But what is it going to shake up? It's going to shake up all the big businesses around the planet, the governments, and that includes religions, anything that's top down. So when I talk generally about how these planets in these signs, in these degrees, are going to affect the world, that is called mundane astrology. But you want to look at how it's going to affect you personally. But if you understand what's going on vibrationally in the world, think about it. Look what's going on. We've been brought to this point based on all the cycles of the past to lead us up to an awakening, which is very Aquarius, that Pluto had shifted into. Now it's back to 29 degrees Capricorn. Last time for 248 years. So we will never see it again. People that are alive at this lifetime. However, if the video's alive in 248 years, they'll be looking back at this and saying, yep, here we are again. So astrology works on repeated patterns and what it did in the past and what it may do in the future. There are certain characteristics. However, it's vibrational. So remember, the moon definitely scientifically been proven to affect the human being. Ask any police officer, ask any emergency room doctor or personnel, ambulance driver, doesn't matter. They will say, oh yeah, it gets crazy because these vibrations do impact our lives. So if the moon impacts our lives, wouldn't all the other planets impact our lives? Astrology has been used 6,000 BC plus. They were the scientists back then. Even before there were telescopes, they knew that the stars had significant meaning and effects on human beings, and they even used it for planting, harvesting, and day-to-day living. So we will continue now to the next planet that I want to look at will be Jupiter. Now, Jupiter moves a lot faster than Pluto, and we're going to go back to today, or May 1st, and we have the planet of Jupiter, which is in 24 degrees Capricorn, all right? And what does Jupiter represent? Expansion, getting bigger. So if it's hitting your ascendant at 24 degrees Taurus, which is a fixed sign, so you find 24 degrees in a fixed sign, and you will be feeling something. What are you feeling exactly? But it's a feeling of expansion, about righteousness, about morals and ethics and values. But it has a physical tone to it. It has to do with food and everything making you comfortable and materialistic. It's kind of got it's simple as far as not too complex, and it's matter of fact because it's earthy, but it could expand on the waistline if it's going over the ascendant in your chart. So it's going to move into Gemini. So let's see when. We got to look at the days, and it's see how it moves faster. And here we go. So May 19th, it'll be in the anaretic degree 29 of Taurus. And then the next day, May 20th, it's going to change its energy and you'll feel it. And it will go from heavy Taurus, all about the materialistic world. I want to be comfortable. Let's touchy, feely. It's ruled by Venus. And notice that they're close together with Venus because Venus is in Taurus. You can't neglect the people that the planets are hanging out with. So we have a quadruple 1, 2, 3, 4 stellium because it's all within 10 degrees. So there's quite a bit of energy, but the sun is going to lighten it up first, and then Jupiter will go into on May 26th, it will go into Gemini. And Gemini is a light, airy kind of feeling, and it's more intellectual. It's not about feeling now, it's more rational. It's let me get more data. Let's talk more about it. Let's see what your values are. Let's see what the beliefs are. Let's see what the laws say. And look, now we're moving into Gemini season at the end of the month as well. You can't ignore that. However, remember that the sun moves very quickly, not as fast as the moon. The moon goes real fast. It spins around all the way around the whole zodiac in 1 month, 28 days. The sun, however, goes around the whole zodiac in 1 year, which is about 1 degree a day. So the sun will stay in a sign for about 30 days and in a house, give or take 30 days, because the signs are always 30 degrees, but the houses may not be. I use the Koch system, which is a house system. And so we are moving into Gemini. So the whole vibe at the end of May through June, and I will talk about that with the June predictions. So that will be next month. But you see, though, there is 1, 2, 3, 4 energies at the end of the month that will be shifting. Okay, let's go back and see, though, this Jupiter and Uranus conjunction, which has been going on since February, and it continues until July, but it's now moving apart from each other. We already had the climax. Now they're moving away from each other, but it still will impact your chart, and it will be in the latter degrees of Taurus. And if something doesn't make sense, because it's complicated, put it in the comments below and we will get back with you and answer the questions, and we could get some education going here. So we're going to have this quadruple conjunction most of the month. Okay, it's 10 degrees apart. See, so that means that the planet of love and materialism, Venus, attraction, and Uranus, sudden and unexpected excitement, and an awakening and enlightenment, and we're shining on there. It's got a real kind of all about possessions. Let's go to the farmer's market because things are starting to happen now. It's after spring, and things are growing. Things are getting bigger and better. And this is Jupiter, which is also growing. So what that means to you is where it's hitting on your chart. And when I say hitting, it's where you have other planets or angles that are the bold lines that are between 22 to 29 degrees in a fixed sign. Okay, so I hope that answers your Jupiter questions, but we're going from heavy Jupiter to light Jupiter, more intellectual, not so, that kind of energy, and that you you have to make more money, and that heavy earth stuff. Earth is heavy. If you don't know if earth is heavy, pick up a bag of soil. That's heavy. All right. The next one we're going to look at is Neptune. Now, Neptune goes slowly too, and it's going into an anaretic degree. Why is that important? Because Neptune moves not quite as slowly as Pluto, but it moves 168 no, I think it's 164 degrees. Sorry, I don't have that in my notes right in front of me. 164 degrees. Yep. And that's how long it takes Neptune to go all around the chart, 164 degrees. So you could see that Neptune on May 3rd goes into the anaretic degree, which means it's going to have that intensity again. There's going to be an urgency. So this is like the last hurrah, your last chance, last dance for romance, whatever you want to call it, where it's going to show you faith, existence, mysticism through music, meditation, drugs, alcohol. It's escapism. It's going with the flow. It's spirituality. So find this 29 degrees Pisces in your chart, and that's where you're going to have maybe some confusion, an area of being in the fog. It's going to be intense. So that will be an immutable sign. Mutable signs are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. So if you have 29 degrees of that, that's where Neptune is in your chart. And see, look within. This is a time to go inward if you have a contact. And you should have been feeling it prior because of the pendulum effect that Neptune has. It goes over the same real estate at least once. 3 times it goes over the same real estate. Okay? So look and see what's in your chart. And I'm going to look at my notes and make sure that I have covered everything. So mundane astrology wise, because we all on the planet are feeling the Neptune Pisces vibration. Neptune and Pisces are in rulership, and they belong to the 12th house energy, which has to do with mysticism, God. You exist. You're not I am because you're not physical yet. This is your birth right here. This is spirit before you are born. There's so much wisdom and logic and order in astrology. And it's your chart. You created your chart. Remember that. Don't let any astrologer tell you that you are doomed because you have this Neptune in a significant place in your chart or next to your sun, so you're always going to be a drug addict. No, you have free will. And I'm going to go off on a little tangent about Russell Brand. If you haven't heard of him, he is former actor. He was involved in drugs and alcohol. And through the different cycles in his chart, he learned, he kept changing and changing. And but believe it or not, now as we speak, this man who has, I believe, 5 to 6 million followers, millions of followers on his social media platform and YouTube. And he made a big switch. He's now embraced Christianity. That's crazy. in the middle of a spiritual war. This man with so much influence is shifting gears and going into spirituality and even saying the Lord's Prayer, Hail Marys, and being baptized and openly talking about it. This is unheard of stuff, guys. Unheard of stuff. If you want me to do a chart analysis on Russell Brand, post it in the comments below and I'll do it for you. If one person, well, if 5 people say yes, I will do it, because it does take a long time to prepare. But it would be interesting because I never expected. So let's take that information and look at the chart right now. Unexpected values, religion, unexpected changes. I would like to see this on Russell Brand's chart and see how it's impacting him, because he's transforming right in front of our eyes. Is that amazing? Do you agree with that? I hope you're enjoying this video as much as I enjoy making them, but I have to be in that mental state of being, because I get so excited that I'm all over the place. That's that Uranus energy too. It's being scattered all over the place at a higher octave than Mercury and or Gemini. So as a little side note, Uranus and Mercury are related. They're like first cousins, but they're at higher levels, a higher octave. And Aquarius and Gemini are related. They're air signs, but Aquarius is at a higher level. What do I mean by that? Because it has social impact. Aquarius is I know, and Gemini is I want to find out. I'm curious. Not at the emotional level as Scorpio, but on the intellectual level. Okay? So I hope these little tidbits in between my stories and framework are helpful. If they're not, let me know and I will adjust accordingly. So it's time to let go and let God. And that's what Russell Brand is showing. But if you do believe in the angels and you are a light worker and you're open to these suggestions, isn't that amazing how God, the creator, has used this individual to serve on a collective purpose? See, we all have a purpose. Your purpose is shown with the nodal axis, the axis. This is the south node, and this is the north node. This is what's familiar to you, and this is where you're going towards and what your purpose is. And it's always opposite exactly to the other, opposite signs. And so you're moving throughout your life in that direction. And these nodes have a 17-year cycle. So his purpose, we don't know. I didn't really look at his chart. I'm not talking to him. It would be nice if I could have a reading with him live or on video so you could see and he could answer some of my questions, because a good astrological forecast and reading, natal chart reading, has to be conversational and interactive. I don't dictate what is happening in your life. That's not astrology. The chart does not dictate your life, folks, because you created that chart. You dictate your life. But if you don't know enough about astrology and you get mixed up with the wrong astrologer who doesn't clarify all this stuff, you could be in for a rough road. And I have a lot of horror stories of people that were misled by astrologers in a very profound way. And it's really horrible. So I do my best to keep it light and love, and to tell you that you do have a choice in your astrology reading. So now, collectively, mundanely, maybe for you too, this is a time to have faith. Pay attention to what's going on, what you see. Use your critical thinking. Okay? Critical thinking is Mercury and the Uranus elements in your chart, but use your thinking and find out for yourself, what does this mean to me? If we are indeed in spiritual warfare, which I believe, what side am I on? That's all you need to answer. What side are you on? Who are you following? What are you letting into your emotional diet? What are you consuming? Very important, especially now. Because if you're not feeling well and your life is taking some dips that you don't want, what are you doing? Who are you following? What's happening in your life? Have you cleared your cords? Are you cleansing your space? Are you aligned with good? Or are you aligned with evil? There's so much of that going on right now, and it's in our face, especially Hollywood, sports, and music, right? So music helps us escape. It's spiritual. It's represented also by Neptune. So look at all this anger and aggression and this new beginning in music in Pisces. All right. So maybe it's time for all of us to kind of align ourselves and say, where are we going? Because when Neptune finally in April of 2025 goes into Aries, it's going to be a whole new spiritual phase. And maybe that's what people are talking about. That the earth, Dolores Cannon said the earth is going to split. I don't think it's going to split physically. I think that people are going to align themselves on the dark and the light. And you make your choice. Because honestly, nobody gets away with anything. We came in spiritually, and I believe that we came in with good intentions, and we came here to learn. Even by doing really bad stuff, you learn. You learn and you teach, because look what's happening. People are going to jail now. People are being exposed for what they do to children with human trafficking. And that really dark, yucky energy, because I've done extensive research at the Edgar Cayce ARE Library here in Virginia Beach, and that's all represented by Black Moon Lilith. Well, isn't this interesting that all this healing information and this cluster right here is opposite Black Moon Lilith, which has to do with me, and this is self-healing, and this is abusive relationships with others. And there's a need to balance that. This has got to stop. But it will stop when we all wake up. Okay? These are the energies that are happening right now. And as I look through my notes, I could put a check mark next to Neptune. The next thing we're going to look at are the lunations. If you have an ephemeris is a calculation of the moon and where it's going. And it shows you here the lunar phases or the moon phases, and it tells you the date. So May 8th, we have a new moon, 18 degrees Taurus. A new moon is always a moon and the sun together and conjunct. Okay? And then we have the full moon, which is represented here on the 23rd of May. 2 degrees Sagittarius. And a full moon, by definition, is always the sun opposite the moon. Okay? Full moon is more intense because it's an opposition. It's a tug of war. There's a need to balance. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, excuse me, put them in the comments below. I hope you're enjoying this so far. And if you want to do something really cool with your astrology natal chart, look and see where your moon is, because we're speaking about lunations, and see what degree your and sign your moon is in. And then once a month, see when the moon is actually in that exact position, and how do you feel? Because the moon represents your feelings, your emotions, and feelings and emotions have everything to do with your motivation. If you don't feel like doing anything, you're not motivated. But if you're excited and happy based on your mood, then you will do stuff, and that's your motivation. It all has to do with emotions and feelings. So, more questions for me, let me know. And check out our blogs on our website if you want a newsletter, because I do the videos based on the data that I put out there through blogs once a week, newsletters once a month, TikToks every day, short form videos, and then Instagram and Facebook kind of notifications, generalizations. But if you really want to understand astrology, you have to understand it's very complex, it's very methodical. The interpretation is very subjective, and that's the danger. So be careful what you listen to, who you listen to, and is there negativity? If there's a lot of negativity, then you're going to get negativity because you're digesting it. You're bringing that onto yourself. So we talked a lot about what's happening in the material world because it's the ending of Taurus season. We have the slower moving planets like Pluto going into a retrograde. Retrograde is inward feelings and emotions, and it's not taking action. It's reviewing, redoing, reevaluating. So it's an inward, introverted type energy, all retrogrades. But with Pluto, the transformative energy will be internalized. And then the last time it moves out of that retrograde in that particular spot, 29 degrees Capricorn, and then going into 0 degrees of Aquarius, you will see those changes. And those are irreversible changes. So we all have losses. And remember, when you came or chose to come as spirit into physicality, it was your choice. Nobody's a victim. Although Neptune, Pisces, 12th house, could be an area of victimhood. But you have to shift gears up here and understand they're just lessons. If you don't learn from your lessons, you will be a victim. Lessons are Saturn energies. Okay? So karma is not etched in stone as far as like you're victimized by your karma, because you always have free will. That's why you have to be careful of the astrology that you listen to. If it's Vedic, if it's ancient, they're really heavy on negative predictions, and this is going to happen, and this is when you're going to die, and you will get in a car accident. And I'm sorry, I do not prescribe to that. I feel it's very dangerous. I will not put that on my soul because I don't want to judge myself for that when I go back to spirit. because then I'll have more lessons to learn. You know, you don't get away with anything. So I thank you very much for your time. If you thought this was valuable, give me a thumbs up and share this video with anyone that you think might get something out of it. Give me your comments below as far as what would make this video better, and be real with me. I appreciate that because I'm a very open and real person. I'm very authentic. And till the next time, make sure you do that notification so you will always understand and know what's going on in astrology from day to day. Ev Zervoudakis, Holistic Healing Astrology.